Let's give him another round of applause for the color guard. So as we kick off, let me just take a moment to thank all of the sponsors. You've seen the sponsor deck outside. This event would not be possible if it wasn't for all of the sponsors that contributed today. So let me just name them. I'm not going to name people, because what happens when you name people? They stand up and everyone claps. No, what ends up happening is that you miss someone, right? So let me thank all of the Tech4ALL sponsors, TechAdocs, Essential Life Cycle Services, Deloitte, CompTIA, Agilent, JCD Productions, BMCC, Lenovo, Cisco, Microsoft, MCU, HMC, Right New, Bronx Community College, CTech, S800, International Association for Microsoft Channel Partners, Creating IT Futures, National Skills Coalition, Unisys, TDC, Costco, the New York Yankees, MTA, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, StarTech 365, Perscolas, Cinex, NAF, Blue, which is Business Leaders United, Virtual Enterprises, and personal sponsorships by Chuck Lennon and Heather Tenuto. So with that being said, let's give a round of applause for all of our sponsors, our partners in terms of our school partners, also Thomas Edison High School, the New York City Department of Education, the 9/11 Memorial and Museum, John Jay College, Empower, the Brooklyn Steam Center, Transit Tech, Co-op Tech, Archer on One, and DuroS. So let's give them a round of applause. And last but not least, you'll hear from our president, but one of the organizations, obviously, that I near and dear to my heart, and also pays me, right? The United Federation of Teachers. Let's give a round of applause to all of the folks at the UFT in terms of supporting Tech4ALL. So without further ado, let me bring up the founder of Tech4ALL, it was his vision and conversations. This is a gentleman that, for many of you who may not know, for those that do know him, knows how much of an advocate he is for us in New York City. Angel Pinero is the chair of our advisory council. He's the co-chair of the advisory council in New York. That's a group of companies that work outside of the space of the Department of Education and the UFT, and what they do is all of the companies and advisors that make recommendations to the chancellor about how we're going to move career and technical education forward in New York City. They talk about the budgets and what needs to happen to be able to move career and technical education in New York City. And besides that, as a senior vice president for Agilent Solutions, let me bring up the founder for Tech4ALL, Mr. Angel Pinero. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Where's the Bronx?
Woo!
Right. I know there's some other boroughs here, but I you know what? I'm a Bronxite. I've been living most of my years in the Bronx, and I say, go Bronx! And thanks for Manhattan and Queens and Staten Island.
And Brooklyn.
And Brooklyn. No offense. I love you guys all. I mean, New York City, nothing better.
Oh,
And
man,
so thank you for wanting to be part of this event. I have to give props to my man Sterling. I mean, I even had doubt that we could pull this stuff off in a short period of time, and Sterling's like, nope, we're not postponing it, we're moving forward. And we did. Little sleep, but we made it happen. So I want to thank him wholeheartedly. and the staff of UFT. Yesterday we were here till, almost midnight, just getting some last minute preparation done. And I really appreciate that effort. But we also have folks from CompTIA. We have folks from other organizations here as well, helping get this thing to make it happen in time without any kind of delay. So I appreciate them as well. We did have a committee to make this thing happen. Sterling, I'm not going to mention all of them, but those that really stood out at the last minute, and that was Nick, also from the UFT. We had Nancy, we had Teresa, we had Howard, we had Carrie, and a few others. But man, my deep appreciation for you guys to making what I had as a vision come to reality. Now, I know what it is to struggle. We didn't have much coming up. When I was raised, when my family was bringing us up, I have a sibling, sister, and it wasn't easy. Living in the South Bronx, where everybody was struggling. I remember, sometimes having to go to school with holes in my sneakers, which, I sort of can mask that by keeping my soles down. But when my socks start protruding from the hole, that becomes a problem. You can't really hide that. And how many of you can relate, those that are, my age, where your dad or your mom, mainly in my case, my dad, used me as the remote. We weren't the remote. I was standing in front of the TV, and I think there were 5 channels at the time. And, he'd tell me, yeah, turn it here, turn it there. That's from the laughter. I know some can relate to that. Also, the antenna. Hey, it was a clothes hanger, right? Fold it up, and if it wasn't working, remote, come. Play with it. Get the foil. Absolutely. So many things that I can go on and on, but we don't have enough time. But there are signs of struggle. And the Lord blessed me, and the way He blessed me was through technology. And He literally used my wife, because when I graduated high school, I was vocation, now called CTE. And I took up auto body collision repair. And after I graduated, I realized that's not what I wanted to do. Nothing wrong with that, because I still like it. But after a while, I said no. And then my wife told me I should consider technology. I'm like, tech what? I had no idea what that was. But fortunately, there was a school, not a college, there was a school called the Albert Barrow School on Columbus Circle in Manhattan. No longer there. So this is going back to early 80s. Actually, beginning, 1980. And it was an electromechanical technology course. 6 months. Didn't pay a dime. And I was blessed that it was a company called the Computer Factory. And Howard Cohen sitting up here, known him that many years, we worked together. He was my boss actually I started there, then he started, he became my boss. So, you know what, but I'm blessed because I learned so much from him. But that company gave me the opportunity to start a career as an entry-level technician. And now 38 years later, here I am today, what I would consider achieving success. Success, in my mind, there's so many things to describe success, but one of the things is when you can not only afford things that you need, but you can afford things that you want. Yeah. There's a big difference. Like a remote. Yes. And cable TV. Yeah. But what was bothering me is the fact that there's so many people experiencing what I experienced, almost 4 decades ago, experiencing that today. And it's happening, I know, in the Bronx. And it's happening in Brooklyn. And it's happening in Queens. And quite honestly, it's happening in a lot of cities throughout the US, where a certain class have the resources that don't make it to the communities that don't have the same resources. So what happens is that you don't know about it. How can you take advantage of an opportunity of the resources that are available to you if no one's telling you about it? So the purpose of this event is to share this secret. And it's a secret because if you don't know about it, it's a secret. So when you leave today, you are going to have a treasure trove of information that will get you started in a career in technology if you desire. The fact is, not everybody might want a career in technology. But shouldn't you know about it before you make that decision? That's what this event is going to do for you. And you're going to hear from a lineup of extraordinary people. In fact, let's say, and I'll use a cliche, they're ordinary people doing extraordinary things. But they have achieved a lot of success. Every single speaker today have benefited from a life in tech. And more importantly, selfish doesn't exist in their vocabulary because they are here pro bono. No one here is making a dime. They're here because they want to share the information with you that can get you out of your current situation. Now, some of you here are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Yes? Yes. All right. Some of you here may be having a difficult decision to make every single day, whether you buy, do you pay your rent or do you pay for medicine? Do you pay your rent or do you pay for food? You may not even know where the money's coming to pay your next month's rent. This might not apply to everybody, but it might apply to one person, and that's all we need. If there's just one person here that we can change their life through tech, then this event was worth it. And you're going to hear about tech in so many different areas. You're going to hear the alphabet soup, AI, VR, ML, you name it. You're not going to know about what that means now, but when you leave today, you're going to know what that means. You're going to know about cloud. You're going to know drones. You're going to know about gaming. You're going to know about coding. You're going to know about repairing computers. You're going to know about connecting computers. You're going to know about this thing called the cloud, and I'm not talking about when you see in the sky when you look up. You're going to know. Maybe some of you heard about IoT, Internet of Things. Many people, even in technology, heard of IoT, but they have no clue what that means. And you're going to have a person that is incredibly, I call him futuristic, in Todd, and he's going to explain that to you. So my advice to you, make sure you don't step out for anything. The only time that you should be listening to what these people have to say is when we're on a break, and you need to get something to eat, something to drink, go to the restroom. But when those workshops begin, when the speaker's here talking to you, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family, you owe it to anyone that you love and are dear to you to pay attention. Because I believe this is a life-changing event. Technology will change your life for the better if you take advantage of it. And do not think that you need a 4-year college degree. Do not think that you need a 2-year college degree. Do not think that you need to be extremely bright in math. Because the only requirement to make it in tech is that you're passionate about it. That's all. That's the only requirement. Everything else can be provided to you, and you know what? In many cases, for free. Who likes free stuff? I like free stuff, right? Well, you know what? And you don't even need to bring a discount coupon or anything. We're going to tell you where to get the information. We're going to tell you where to get the skills. We're going to tell you where, and after you get the skills, we're going to tell you where to get the jobs. What good is having skills and not having the job? The thing is, with the skills, you can get any job. And here's the really nice thing about it. Once you have the skills, and once you have the credentials, and talk about credentials, CompTIA is going to tell you all about credentials. They have a booth out there, they're going to be talking about the career pathway. Pay attention. Once you have the skills, once you have the credentials, you know where you can get the job? Anywhere you want. New York City, LA, Miami, Puerto Rico, Jamaica. I have a buddy here, CEO from Romania. And he's here. You can get jobs in Romania. I had the opportunity for Bogdan, who hosted me in Romania, and I got a chance to speak to a bunch of engineers over there. And but the jobs are anywhere you want them to be. No one can rob you of your skills once you have them. They're yours to take. They're yours to keep. So I spoke enough. Pay attention. That's all I ask. And there's going to be a lot of prizes. So, but to get the prize, we're going to be giving out Chromebooks, we're going to be giving out drones, we're going to give out lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. But you have to be here to win. If your raffle ticket is called and you're not here, guess what happens? Goes to the next person.
Where's the raffle ticket?
Bronx, rest of New York City, love you, pay attention, rock on.
Where's the raffle tickets? Oh.
Excellent. So everyone knows, right? There's only a couple of things we have to do. Have some passion. But for today, well, we have to just pay attention, right? Gather information and learn. Let me bring up someone who you may or may not know, but represents the borough of the Bronx, and is a long-standing advocate for not just technology, but for the folks in this borough as well as throughout the city. Let me introduce you, Assemblyman Michael Blake.
Huh?
Good morning.
What?
Good morning. Good morning. First, I need all those raffle tickets you were talking about. I have a lot of constituents who would love that, the chrome and everything like that.
11.
But for those that I'm meeting for the first time, my name is Michael Blake. I'm one of your assembly members here in the Bronx, in the South Bronx 79th District. Thank you for those that have supported us in our recent run that we just had citywide. And very grateful to be able to spend some time with you. Of course, to Sterling, who has been doing the work for a long time. Let's give Sterling a round of applause right now. And let's show some love to Angel, because that was a phenomenal presentation to get going right now. I come to you as someone who's born and raised in the Bronx, grew up at Creston and Burnside. I went to PS 79, 118, and DeWitt Clinton. And so I am very grateful at any time to spend some time with the UFT, especially when talking about the technology. Because too often, we're not addressing the gap that exists in our communities. We continue to wonder why young people are not having more opportunities. We continue to wonder why more of our adults are not having more opportunities, in large parts because of technology. When you asked about college and career readiness, the two subjects that impact that the most are math and algebra. And I remind people often, I may not remember anything about my algebra class back in the day, but the critical thinking is the element of that prepares you. And when you think about technology, every single thing that we're doing every single day is impacted by some form of technology. And so why would we want to cede that power to somebody else? Why not be able to control your destiny and what's going on in our communities? It's the reason why we've been putting more funding in the state budget towards technology opportunities. So we created the My Brother's Keeper program. $18 million over the last few years to help boys and young men of color go to school and graduate from school, to make those opportunities and that connections.
Only boys?
It's the funding we did for the Educational Opportunity Center, because as was mentioned, you know, we got to remind people, you may not be a part of, go to a four-year institution, and that's okay. But we want to make sure you have the skills for success. Because that's the big piece. A lot of times people are graduating, they may be a part of a career, and they may not have the skills to get ready for the next opportunity.
Yes.
So sessions like today create those spaces and create that opportunity. You know, I had the chance for almost 7 years to work with President Obama. And one of the things we're able to show people regularly is the impact of technology in changing the game for everybody. So for example, in 2012, people may not realize this, President Obama's Facebook friends and the next level of friends were connected to 95% of the US Facebook population. And what were we able to do? We were able to send out information so that people can get registered to vote. So technology needs to be used for good. And that means that we should not just be using technology to be checking Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Oh, it got quiet on me right there. We have to use it to create more opportunities in our spaces. There's a group that has been launched called Meta Bronx, if you have not heard of them. Meta Bronx, M-E-T-A Bronx, with Philip Shear and Miguel Sanchez down in the South Bronx. It's connecting and helping entrepreneurs that want to launch their programs to the next level. To say to someone that this may be new to you, this may be new opportunities for you, but we want to show you how you get greater connections when it comes to technology. Again, it's called Meta Bronx, M-E-T-A Bronx. There's a program that we've been able to help launch called Envolve, E-N-V-O-L-V-E. Envolve, so instead of Involve, Envolve. It used to be called the American Entrepreneurship Award. It's a 10-year commitment that we have now received here in the Bronx, that for any small business that becomes part of the program and wins the program, gets a zero-interest loan for the rest of the program.
Wow.
Wow,
Okay.
Envolve.
Now we got attention right there, right? It's called Envolve, E-N-V-O-L-V-E. It's the Envolve Award that we have launched. And I'm bringing this up for a technology space because you're doing the work, whatever it may be, different aspects of UFT, of course. But we want you to know there's more opportunities as well to continue to grow, whether it be Romanian. I'm Jamaican, so I want you to go to Jamaica right now. That's what I'm saying, right? And so making those connections in that way is critical. You might have seen there was a story that came out earlier this year about Perscolas, which a lot of us are doing a lot of work with Perscolas. A $30,000 grant that happened to one of their graduates because of Coca-Cola. And so there's opportunities that now exist that we want to connect you with. So let me close by saying this. First and foremost, thank you. Thank you for being here on a Saturday morning and throughout the day. Thank you for continuing to show what's happening in our community, to show what's possible. You know, I say often, my family went from no house in Jamaica to the Black House in Northwestern to the White House in D.C. to the State House in Albany. And it happened because people opened up doors to me. We tell people in our office all the time, your block won't block your blessing. Your zip code won't deny your destiny. And that's what technology has to be, to create these new spaces that are happening right now. We've put in a lot more money in the state budget this year, primarily, especially around teacher education, around professional development, around retention, around supply and training and skills. So my email, if my team can ever be helpful to you, no matter where you may live, no matter where you may be,
Right up here.
is MB
And Blake.
79
Oh, MB 79.
at, who's got the computer?
At
Right here? You type it up here? Is it
nyassembly.gov,
over here?
probably, or no.
Yes.
Or is
Someone
that
go put it up. I know some of y'all looking at me like I can't write that fast. MB 79 at nyassembly.gov. You got it? You got it? MB 79.
That's right, I know
Sure,
that.
everybody. MB79 at nyassembly.gov. Our office, if you ever need to physically find us, we're at 780 Concourse Village West. 780 Concourse Village West. The best way to think about where our office is. Y'all know where the movie theater is on 161st Street?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're staring at the front doors of the movie theater, my office are the apartment buildings behind me. So you know where the Blink Fitness is in the SSI office. We on that block right there. So we got a lot of programs coming up, a lot of things we can connect you with. We want you to be involved. But again, you know, when we talk about Tech for All, we're grateful for you. So I'm gonna be creative about this. You gotta use tech for good. So we're gonna take a selfie here. Now, if you were supposed to be somewhere else, I can't help you right now. You were supposed to be hanging out with your boo. I got nothing for you. I'm gonna post it and we'll tag it. And if you reply back to the tweet, we'll send you the information to the links I mentioned. That's called Tech for All right there. Don't worry, I'll get the room. One side, all right. I see y'all over here. Y'all look at me like what's going on. See, at least y'all wave. Let's see if y'all gonna wave. Let's see what y'all got right here. Let's see. Technology changed my life. I know it's gonna change yours as well. God bless you, everybody.
Assemblyman Michael Blake. Let's give him a round of applause.
Yeah.
That's technology.
So let me give you a quick ground rules before I bring up Nancy Hammerbeck from Cheer. So here's the ground rules, ladies and gentlemen. It's simple. First, we're gonna have fun. Yes?
Yeah.
Everybody clap. We're gonna have fun. Second, we're gonna have fun. Third, although this looks like an auditorium setting,
We're gonna have fun.
and everybody is like sort of quiet, we're gonna have fun. Also, for all the young people and all of the adults, and for the adults, this is our chance to educate our young folks that we brought, whether you're a parent, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a part of the organization or whatever. This has to be the most, we have to network. So before you leave, meet at least 30 people you do not know. How many?
30 at
No,
least.
that's too many.
At least.
40 people.
No,
How many people meet 40 people? 40 people.
50.
50 people. I didn't say, I'm just supporting the work. I'm going to meet 50 people that I do not know. How many people know me here? How many people think that they know me? Have you noticed that everyone who came here is from the Bronx, right? Everyone who's from the Bronx plan is originally from the Bronx. Let me give you a quick story that most people don't know. I only usually share this story with students when I speak to them. Most people see me and they say, yes, Sterling Robus is the vice president here at the United Federation of Teachers, representing 200,000 members. But I always tell students that I am one of you. I'm originally from the Bronx. I actually lived on a street called Grove Street, off of Southern Boulevard, across the street from the Bronx Zoo.
I know that is.
And believe it or not, when I grew up, we didn't live in the projects like it was Twin Parks and Dennis Lane and all those things that most people here in the community. We actually lived in a tenement building with 6 brothers and sisters that I have, with my mom and dad. There was 9 of us in like a 1.5 bedroom apartment.
Wow.
I say that, I didn't even know what a walk-in closet was when I was growing up. I said, I want the room with no outlets. Imagine it. So when you think about what happens And growing up, if you ask my folks or the people in my community, growing up in the 70s when the Bronx was called Fort Apache, when they made movies about the Bronx, you know, Paul Newman, you know, Fort Apache, the Bronx. If you ask them in the 70s that their son or others I would become a vice president of 200,000 members, most folks would have believed that that would not be possible. I say that story because anything is possible. My background, I went to PS 32 in the Bronx, junior high school 45, behind that White Castle. Remember that school there? Samuel Gompers High School. And I say that, and why I love the United Federation of Teachers where I work, and why I love teachers, is because teachers are the only individuals that wake up every morning and go to sleep at night thinking about someone else's kid.
That's right.
Let's give the teachers a round of applause. To the young people in the room, before I turn it over to Nancy, I'll give you a couple of things that your parents, and why this day is important for you, even though many of you may not understand it yet, but you're here, so you're in the right place. Your parents, your teachers, all of the individuals in this room that support you want to give you some building blocks or some foundational things, and they do it to you to the point where you don't like it. That is, they give you what is known as TLC. Does anyone know what TLC is? For the adults, what's TLC? Tender loving care. Some kids say it's table, ladders, and chairs. I was out of school. That's what it is. We're in CTE school. It's table, ladders, and chairs, mister. Right? But the reason why they give you TLC and why you resist is because that tender loving care comes into a form that's a success when you get older, a foundation for success. The T is that your parents and your teachers and all of the supporters here want you to be able to think. That is an important thing to do. The L is they want you to listen, and not only listen, they also want you to learn. The last of that, the C, is that they want you to make choices with the understanding that whatever choice you make, there's a consequence to that choice, whether it's positive or negative. So they shower you with that TLC because they know that that is what you are going to need as a foundation to be successful as you find your way through education. So without further ado, you'll hear from a lot of speakers, but let me bring up Nancy Harriman-Vick, from Executive Vice President for Industry Relations from CompTIA, who will talk about the social media aspect of what we're doing.
Good morning, everyone. Really
morning.
great to be here with you today. Got to meet a lot of you at the booth, CompTIA booth this morning. I'll be there later today. I'm here to share the first way that you can win prizes today, and that's with our social media contest. So how many of you have a cell phone or a computer with you today? Okay, awesome. So this is the one time you're going to be in a learning environment where not only can you take your phones out, but we're encouraging you to use them all day. So we are looking for the top Instagrammer here. We have a TECH4ALL Instagram account. We're looking for the top Twitter post today, and then also social media rockstar. So the hashtag is hashtag TECH4ALL, just as you see it up here, UFT. We're thankful that there are some other TECH4ALL accounts there on Instagram and Twitter. So we want to distinguish with TECH4ALL UFT. So for Instagram, we're looking for the best picture, best group photo, engaging, active, let people know you're having fun here and you're learning. Twitter, if you hear something you want to share out there with others, make sure to post that. And then the overall top social media award will be for how many tweets you have, how many posts, your reach, retweets, comments, all of that. So we want to raise the roof here. We want people to know what's happening here in the Bronx. We use social media to let people know what we're doing. We want to learn what they're doing. So let people know what's happening here, and then maybe next year they'll come. So TECH4ALL UFT, got it? Yeah. All right, start tweeting, I am here, TECH4ALL UFT. All right, thanks very much. And Sterling, bring back the agent.
Thank you, Nancy. And you're going to hear maybe some folks, a few of us, I've mentioned this so that the Assemblyman, we're not knocking college, all right? But you need money to afford college. Technology will get you that money if you want to go to college, all right? So we're not knocking it. My college degree is not in tech. My degree is in theology. I went to a Bible seminary school and I got my degree in theology and I'm an ordained minister. Nothing to do with tech. Tech paid the bills. Okay, but the blessing came from God.
Amen.
So, and again, talking about, where we came from, I will continue to share that. For me, back then, today a lot of people eat 2 slices of pizza, right? I still eat 2 slices of pizza. I want to eat 3, but I got to watch myself. But back then, 2 slices of pizza for me was 1 slice of pizza. I ate the cheese first, and then I ate the rest of it. That was my version of eating 2 slices of pizza, because I couldn't afford 1. I couldn't afford 2. So I just want to relate the situation that when you come, you can start from nothing, and you can have it all. Just give tech a try. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you the President and CEO of CompTIA. I'm going to read his bio, but one thing that I always say when I introduce this gentleman and a friend, I referred to him earlier as a futurist. He has a knack for being able to know what's going to happen in tech years from now. So make sure you listen to close to what he has to say. He's going to have 2 workshops in the afternoon. Make sure you attend that. But when this man talks, my ears are open and my mouth is shut. All right, so continue with his with the introduction. And like I said, he's President and CEO of CompTIA, which is the leading nonprofit trade association for global technology. CompTIA represents more than 2,000 member companies and 3,000 business partners spanning the worldwide technology industry. Since joining the organization in 2008, Thibodeau has led the expansion of CompTIA's commitment to advancing industry growth through education and training programs, market intelligence and research, networking events, professional certification, and public advocacy. One of the issues Mr. Thibodeau has been most vocal and engaged on is the need for new policies, programs, strategies, and tactics to ensure that there are sufficient numbers of workers to fill the employment needs of the global tech industry. Under his leadership, CompTIA has launched a series of initiatives to deepen the pool of qualified job candidates. He is a graduate of the University of North Carolina at Wilmington, Bachelor's in Science Economics, and George Mason University, Master's degree in Economics. It is my pleasure. Put your hands together and welcome Mr. Todd Thibodeau.
Double mic. So thanks, Angel. You can tell the passion that Angel has for not only all of you, but technology, for education, for business, and that's the reason why we're here. Angel is one of our most active and engaged volunteers within the organization, and it's a privilege to get to come and speak with and be attached to anything that he's doing, because you know that if he's attached to it, it's going to be fun, it's going to be engaging, it's going to be informative, and it's going to be impactful. So I'm a product of the career tech ed ladder as well, as Angel described. When I went to high school, I didn't really try that hard as a student. My grade point average wasn't all that great, but I was really good in shop class. So through high school, I became a certified welder. Built all kinds of different things for my school. I built a baseball backstop. I built a horse trailer because the high school that I went to was in the far northeast corner of Washington State where it was kind of farmland. I built lots of other things for the school. That's what I was going to do. So I didn't try that hard in school. Didn't try that hard in math. Didn't try hard in a bunch of other classes because I said I'm going to be a welder. Because I was really good at it and I liked it. It was fun to build things. My dad was an engineer, so I had that desire to build things, put things together, imagine things. And welding allowed me to do that. So I left high school and I went into the job for a few months And I looked around at these guys that were in their 30s and 40s, and they were in terrible health. They had sight issues, hearing issues, lung issues. They had burns all over their bodies. And I'm thinking, wow, I made the wrong decision. What am I going to do? I hadn't applied to any colleges. I didn't have any money. I didn't have anything to carry me forward other than I was a good welder. So luckily I found a few people who got me into the community college system. And I'm a pure product of community colleges, which were fantastic for me. If I hadn't found those, I wouldn't be standing in front of you today. The classes were small, the teachers were engaged, classes were fun, it was affordable, and that got me my start. But I ended up going to 6 schools during my tenure as I moved around in different parts of the country. In Spokane, Washington, where I started, then I went out to North Carolina and went to several schools, but eventually ended up at the schools that Angel mentioned and fell into economics, which took me forward into my career. But I always had this love of tech behind me to get me going, to grasp onto. I had a color TV kit that I built when I was a 10-year-old. It took me 2 years to build this TV. It lasted about 6 months, and then it exploded in our living room in a burst of flames. But it worked for some period of time. But that love of tech, and I said my dad was an engineer, so we always had gadgets around the house. He built his own stereos, he built other things. He always had switches and electric motors and batteries and all kinds of stuff. He worked for a company called Western Electric, for people of you that remember that name. They were a big company. He got his schooling in the Air Force, and then he went into the workplace. So I've kind of grown up with tech, so I understand the opportunities that it provides. The interesting thing is we're at a period now where the tech advances that we're going to see over the next 10 to 15 years are going to be exciting, but they're also going to be really scary. Because they have the potential to tremendously disrupt hundreds of millions of careers around the world. You know what the #1 career in the world today is for young men 18 to 31 years old? It's driving people and stuff. Cab drivers, bus drivers, truck drivers, train conductors, boat captains. That's the #1 career in the world for young men 18 to 31. Suppose driverless technology was perfected tomorrow. Where would all those people go?
Jobless.
They'd be jobless. We'd have hundreds of millions of people worldwide without work. And the skill system that we have today is not equipped in any stretch, any shape or form, to train and reskill all those people. Because they don't have transferable skills. You take away that opportunity to drive that truck or drive that cab. Anybody who's been out of the U.S., been to a city like Cairo in Egypt, it seems like everybody is a cab driver. What if they didn't have that opportunity to do that? So what we need to do is put together a different kind of education system. We need to break the monopoly on college university degrees being the only pathway to jobs. You know, Angel talked about the school that he went to and got his start. Those schools used to be all over the place. Who remembers the Columbia School of Broadcasting? Most people who worked early in broadcasting went to Columbia.
Yeah.
It was a school you could go to. It was maybe a 9-month program, 1-year program, and then you ended up being able to work in that job. The school that Angel went to, 6 months. He got what he needed to be able to work in the industry. So we need to see the development of that. So let me get my, take a second, get my slides up here, because I want to follow through on some things. And I want to describe this, what we're calling job role-based training, that's going to provide a different kind of pathway for people. So right now, those millions of people, the global workforce itself is about 2.7 billion people. Now, it's not going to pop up on there. We didn't want to try to synchronize between the two computers for that, so I'm going to do it here. But I'll share all these slides after. So we're talking about 2.7 billion people who are working worldwide. And McKinsey, a consulting firm, says that there's the possibility that we could see as many as 400 million to 800 million people displaced or be forced to reskill entirely because of technologies like Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, robotics, bionics, smart cities, smart medicine, you name it. There's about 14 key technologies that are going to have these massive impacts on our future. So this chance that we're going to have 400 to 800 million people. Now, those going to all flood into colleges? No. We need a different model. How can we create a system that's going to allow people to quickly acquire the skills that they need to get jobs in the job market? So today in the tech industry in the US, there's 800,000 open tech jobs. 800,000. To put that in perspective, there are about 12 million people who work in tech. So almost 7 to 8% of the entire workforce is open right now. And employers are saying, well, we can't find people. Where are these people? They talk about the skills gap. Most of the people they're looking for are already working for somebody else. They're going to cherry pick those people from other companies, or are they going to commit to skilling those people up? Right now, businesses are not making that commitment. So we need to find a different mechanism that allows people to get those skills. The other thing that's different today through different careers is people don't want to necessarily work in the same field their entire life. They want to work in different fields and try different things out. When you ask someone who's getting ready to graduate high school, what do you want to do in your life? They'll probably list 7 or 8 things. Parents know this. Well, I want to be a DJ, or I want to work here, I want to work there, I want to work there. That's the reality of the future, is that people want to be able to move between different fields and different industries, and not necessarily be stuck in the same one the whole time. I describe it this way. We have an Encyclopedia Britannica education system. We have a Google world. This idea that we're spending all this time and effort to force students to be crammed full of knowledge, the vast majority of which they'll never use, and the vast majority of which they have at the touch of a button, if they need to find it. So this emphasis on knowledge accumulation, as opposed to skills development, has been to the detriment of people's opportunities. So we need a model that accelerates this and emphasizes what you can do